the students for coming in to attend, as well as other teachers from the university and from colleges. I will make a very short talk or a very short presentation. Not much about career opportunities, maybe a little bit about career opportunities and a little bit about doing PhDs in India and abroad. Possibly you can ask me questions now or later. Anyway, I will go into my presentation and I will keep the presentation short and we will finish in 30 minutes by 2:45. I hope it's audible now. It's clear. Okay.
Very clear, very clear.
Clear. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The presentation is hopefully now visible.
Yeah, visible.
Okay. So as I said, it's mostly about higher education opportunities in India and abroad, and a little bit about jobs. And environmental science students have to excuse me. I have included only a little bit of what do you say about environmental science. It's more oriented towards geology. Anyway, you have an environmental expert coming in. Dr. Madhu was also a PhD supervisor in the School of Environmental Sciences, Mahatma Gandhi University, where I was also teaching. So you could say that both of us have an environmental science background. Nevertheless, he is more suitable for giving you a lecture on career opportunities in environmental science. Okay, right. So, as we all know, you have to work first, then success will follow. So you start with that dictum. Only in the dictionary you will find that success comes first, then work comes later. Okay. So when you are in your MSc program, and when you are doing your MSc program, you can add value to yourself. Just doing your MSc in itself is good enough, but often maybe a little bit more can be done. What is that little bit more that you can do? That little bit more that you can do is to do some internships, attend seminars, present papers. Now you had an MPhil conference, maybe you could attend that, maybe you could attend papers in that. All this adds value to your personality, it adds weight to your CV when you apply for jobs or when you apply for a PhD. That gives you some edge over the competition. So there are many places where you could try for an internship. In Trivandrum, there are plenty of places like NSES, National Institute of, NIIST, the old CSIR. So there are locations in Trivandrum where you could apply for an internship, or you could apply for internships in NGOs. There are several places. Indian Academy of Science gives fellowships for summer internships. Very often MSc students of Geology department apply for these internships and some get in. So that would be a good idea. And you can look for internships in many labs, like the Polar Research Institute in Goa, NIO, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, several places. And short-time associations like maybe 1 month in an organization like in Central Groundwater Board, ISR, all these are possible. And also you could go out and do your master's thesis in any of these organizations. There is no restriction that you should do your master's thesis in the department itself. You could go and do your thesis in any of the organizations with the help of a supervisor from your department. Also, while now it's the time of webinars, online courses, you could take up courses, you could take up MOOC courses, you can take NPTEL courses, which are organized by IITs. That also adds value. You could take UGC SWAYAM programs, which could even gain you some credits. So all these are possible. Okay. So with such different types of experience and with a good master's degree and with a good master's thesis, if you are applying for a PhD, you definitely stand a good chance. So there are people in geology who have done NPTEL courses. So you get a certificate like this from the IITs. It's usually given by the IIT Kharagpur, and it will help you in several ways. So maybe you can think of doing such programs even while you are doing your master's, MPhil, or even while you are doing a PhD. This particular student, Shilpa Tangan, works in National Center for Earth Science Studies. She took her MSc from Central University, Karnataka. So her PhD is on fluid inclusions in particular rocks. So naturally, she took an NPTEL course in this particular subject, and she now has a certificate for that. So she is a certified fluid inclusion, you can't say an expert, but she was certified by the IIT Kharagpur. So you could also get certified in specialized areas. So suppose she applies for a project position or a research scientist position, maybe the certificate could be of value to prove that she knows what she claims to know. Okay. And for geologists, there are several opportunities for employment. The main one, as you know, is in Geological Survey of India or in the Central Groundwater Board. That needs no explanation. Unfortunately, environmental science students do not have an option to apply for this. Geologists know how this is done, so I don't go into explaining how you apply for geologist examination, which is conducted by the Union Public Service Commission every year. ONGC also conducts exams. As of now, ONGC mostly recruits geology postgraduates, physics, mathematics, but they also sometimes recruit environmental engineers, in which environmental science graduates can also, postgraduates can also apply. Probably many of you know, or you might already have written GATE exam. From 2021, environmental science is also a subject for GATE. So writing GATE with environmental science helps you to get into organizations like ONGC, where recruitment is mostly based upon GATE score and subsequent interview. As far as geology is concerned, you need a GATE score and you must have studied physics or mathematics if you are applying for a post as a reservoir engineer. Okay, for geologists also you need to study geology and allied subjects. Okay, so writing GATE while studying is a good idea, and now GATE has broadened its approach so that even BSc students can write the GATE exam. Graduate Aptitude Test in Engineering can be written by BSc students. In fact, In Nottingham Government College, a BSc student has written GATE and she has qualified. So what is the advantage? One advantage is now, even as a BSc student, when you write GATE and qualify, you know what you can expect in the exam. So you would be better prepared for maybe writing it once more while you are in your master's program, maybe increasing your rank. So that's an advantage with GATE now. BSc students in the third year can apply as well as MSc students. And for environmental science, the good news is from this year, February 2021, GATE had environmental science as a separate paper. So you have one more avenue to perform. GATE usually has a general aptitude section, something like this, which is relatively simple. But it might also have some mathematical questions also, because it's a graduate aptitude test in engineering. So naturally, you need to have some skills in mathematics, but not of an advanced level. And then GATE has two parts, a general part, a common part, which is relatively simple, and a little bit advanced part also. So these are some of the questions in the geology part of GATE. So as you can, geology students can make out, the difficulty slowly increases from one part to the other. And some amount of quantification or quantitative questions also come up, like for aspects of the subject. So this requires you to be numerically skilled. And now when you take a look at the environmental science question paper, it also has different parts. This is from the third part of the question. This, for me, this looks like a fairly simple question. So Ramsar convention P4. So maybe this or this could be the answer. Kyoto Protocol, climate change. So this Basel Convention, Montreal. So maybe this is the answer. You know better. Environmental science students know better than me. So that's one type of question you expect in GATE environmental science, and this was actually asked in the 2021 GATE exam. And look at this. This requires you to have some knowledge of calculating total alkalinity in a sample. Very, very simple and straightforward question, but you should know how to calculate it. So if you are writing GATE, it's always a good idea to look at the syllabus of the GATE and look at the question paper of the GATE, so that while studying your MSc, you become equipped to tackle these questions. In your syllabus, you may not be equipped to tackle these questions. So it's good if you can look at the questions, be prepared for these types of questions, even if you are not taught such subjects in your MSc. It would be good for you to study on your own and maybe ask your teachers for guidance as well as help in solving certain problems. So this is another one. So as you can see, there are quite a few questions from water quality. It's not just in water quality. I picked up some questions from water quality. It's from biology, all related areas of environmental science. There are questions. So again, another question. What is the sodium absorption ratio of the water sample which may be considered for irrigation purpose? I have given some values and you have to calculate SAR. Probably you study this in environmental science. Anyway, geology students study in geology. Then coming, look at this. This is from a different area in environmental science. Which of the following is true for the nitrifying bacteria belonging to the genus Nitrobacter? So, if you know the answer, it's fairly straightforward. If you do not know the answer, then you will have to മലയാളത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞ കറക്കി കുത്തുക. So, ഇങ്ങനെ കറക്കി കുത്താം. That will fetch you negative marks. 1/3 you will lose. For 3 wrong answers, you will lose 1 mark. So, Gate, test your recall, application of concepts, your understanding of things, how you can analyze and synthesize data. These are examined. Okay. Then the mother of all exams, which paves the way for a PhD, is the CSIR exam for JRF as well as lectureship. And if you have very high scores and is in the top 5 or 10, then you could become eligible for the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Fellowship, which pays a fairly high amount. But even if you have a CSIR fellowship, many CSIR labs conduct further selection processes. So you may have to undergo such processes to get into the CSIR labs. So CSIR labs, they are a consortium. Now they operate under this name, Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research. That's a sort of university setup for CSIR labs. So they can award their own degrees. So there are many places where you could go. You can go to NIO, geology, as well as environmental science students can go into NIO. If you look at the qualifications they ask for, MSc and a valid national level fellowship. CSIR is a valid national level fellowship. UGC is one, but Inspire is not encouraged. Gate is not encouraged. So CSIR labs like NIO prefer CSIR or UGC fellowship, but that's not the case with all the labs. Some labs will allow Gate. For instance, look at this NIIST in Trivandrum. They take Gate candidates. They don't have any problem with Gate candidates. They take UGC, CSIR. Quite a lot of fellowships are accommodated. So similarly, CIMFR, Dhanbad, they take in geology, environmental science, different subject areas are accommodated. Okay, so what I wanted to show here was that Gate, CSIR, both the exams help you to get into PhD programs in CSIR labs, as well as in IITs, as well as in universities. Okay. And if you are looking into doing a PhD abroad, there are plenty of opportunities. I would say that the opportunities are better now after this COVID pandemic. Not after the COVID pandemic means not after the COVID has been erased from the earth. COVID has been here for 1 year, and this has brought about many changes in doing a PhD abroad. One of the most drastic changes that have come in is in the United States. COVID has led to many of the United States universities to drop the requirement for writing the graduate record exam, GRE. That's for this year and probably for the next year also. So if you plan to do a PhD in the USA, then this is the best time to apply, because in many of the universities they have dropped GRE. So several universities have dropped GRE, and there are several places, several fellowships that are available. For instance, DAD. Academic Exchange Program, which funds students for doing masters as well as PhD programs. Then there is this Erasmus Mundus program. I think in geology there was Aju, who did his PhD with Professor Rajesh Raghunath, did a sandwich Erasmus Mundus program while he was doing his PhD. 1 year of his PhD was done in a university in Spain using this Erasmus Mundus program. I am sure that some students, some PhD scholars in the Department of Environmental Science also has made use of the DAD scholarship as well as the Erasmus Mundus scholarships and some scholarships which are not mentioned here. So always talk to your seniors, maintain a line of communication with your seniors and also with your teachers, because you will have a better chances of getting a scholarship if you know how scholarships were won by your seniors. So keep that channel open. Belgium has, every year Belgium has very good scholarships on offer. And if you go to this website, then you will get a lot of information about it. Netherlands has, all the European nations have fellowships on offer every year. If you exclude Britain, other European nations offer excellent scholarships, which any of us, all of us have very good chances of getting those fellowships. Britain is a bit competitive, so chances of getting into a British scholarship, I don't say it is low, but it is highly competitive. Japan offers a very, very lucrative scholarship. It's called a Mombu Gakushu scholarship. You can do a PhD with fellowship in a Japanese university, provided you pass a qualifying test and someone is willing to guide you in Japan. I know of one student who was who did an MSc in disaster management in Mahatma Gandhi University while I was teaching there. So Asha Rose was her name. She qualified the written test, was selected through interview, and did her PhD in Kyoto University, Japan, in environmental science and disaster management. So all these funding opportunities are available. So Asha Rose just made a try and it succeeded. So unless you try, you don't know whether you will succeed or not. So many of these things are available, and there is a good possibility that you could get awarded with one of these fellowships. So GRE, as I said, many geology departments as well as many other subjects also have dropped the requirement for GRE. And as I said, this is a good year for trying for PhD abroad. We have one student, Devika, from Department of Geology, now doing her master's, who has been selected for a PhD and will be joining for a PhD in United States. And so all of you could try that option. So this is a list of universities who have dropped or made GRE optional. And you can see that Earth and Environmental Sciences, like our School of Earth System Sciences in most American universities, Earth and Environmental Sciences go together. This is just a short list, but almost all the universities have dropped, not required. GRE exam, I will not explain what GRE exam is. That is a separate class in itself. So that's a test for getting into American and US universities. And if you want to find out which are the best universities for doing a PhD, then if you go to the US News website, there is a search algorithm through which you can list out the universities according to their ranking. So in geology, the number one place to do a PhD is the Pennsylvania State University in Pennsylvania. In all the subjects, you can get such ranking. So geology, you can change this to environmental science and search. So there are several openings, and this is a website through which you can search for German PhD opportunities. It's a very easy website to do searching in. If you click here, you go to that website, and what information do you have? You have information like this coming up. So this is, I searched that website and I came up with the information that Brandenburg University of Technology has an environmental and natural sciences faculty which offers PhD position. What is the advantage of doing a PhD? What is distinct between doing a PhD in Germany and doing a PhD in USA? US PhDs are long. You need a minimum of 4 years to do a US PhD, whereas German PhDs are shorter. They are 6 semesters long, meaning 3 years is the mostly the maximum time for a PhD in Germany. And in the US university, doing a PhD means you have to pay tuition fees, which runs into lakhs of rupees. Whereas in Germany, PhD doesn't have any fee. In most of the universities, PhD is free of cost. You don't have to spend any money. Only money you have to spend is for your living expenses. So Brandenburg, if this is Germany, then Brandenburg is in this location. Why am I talking about Germany? Because I know Germany better than other European nations, and the information is very easy to retrieve from the internet. So when you look at the environmental science department, you see that it has several subdivisions. One subdivision is the chair of freshwater conservation. And look at the PhD student. What does she do? Ecological memory of microbial biofilms in freshwater streams. Impacts of sediment shifting on the microbial metabolism and structural composition of freshwater biofilms. So these are the types of research being done in the freshwater conservation division of the environmental science division of Brandenburg University of Technology. So maybe these are the type of PhDs that you could pursue in this particular section. There are at least 10 such divisions. So look at the breadth of research that is going on. So that's the advantage. You get a highly multidisciplinary expertise, instrumentation in such labs. So what is she doing? She is the head of the laboratory of this particular lab, nutrient analysis, microwave pulping. So several such analysis is being done here. So you have laboratory support. What is this professor's interest? Anthropogenic impacts on aquatic ecosystems, things like that, limnology. So you see that a variety of subjects are available. So one way to get in is to make contact with professors, write to them about your interests. And if your master's thesis or your Indian Academy or your internship coincides with these areas, then there's a good chance that you could get funded. So I will just show some of the PhDs that are available. Doctoral program in Environment and Society in the Munich University. Look at the fees. €52 per semester. That is an administration fee. 4,500 rupees for 6 months. While doing the PhD, you also make presentations, you travel a lot, you make good connections. If anybody is interested in applying this year, the deadline for applying for PhD is 15 May 2021. April, May, 2 more months remain. So some of you could make a try, go to this website, the PhD program in Environment and Society. 15 May 2021 is the last date. Make a try. Environmental science students, MSc Geology students, all of them can try for this program. And what is the name of this place? Rachel Carson Center. That in itself talks a lot about the commitment of the center to environment and society. Okay, some of the students, as you can see, there are Indian students, Aishi Dhaman, Ruhi Dior. You see that she is a sociology cum geographer. She has done her MA in some other subject, and look at the topics they do. So you can see several disparate subjects being explored for PhD. So in most of these places, you will have to write a statement of purpose. Statement of purpose means why do you want to do this PhD? Why do you want to go to this particular university? And an outline of the dissertation project. What do you actually want to do? Like now here you do an MSc, it will have a synopsis, MPhil will have a synopsis, PhD will have a synopsis. It's 2:46 maybe. In 5 minutes, I will come to a conclusion. So you can see that many topics are available for research. Then graduate school for geoinformatics in Münster, where you can do a PhD in geoinformatics. And not just geoinformatics students, anybody can do a PhD there. You need proof of English. Proof of English is through TOEFL or IELTS. So these are other centers. This is the university where I was in, University of Stuttgart, where you can do an international doctoral program in environment water. If you go to these websites, you can get more details. This is in another university, Technical University of Dresden, where there is an integrated management of water, soil, a joint PhD. Okay, so that was as far as PhD abroad was concerned, and for geologists, there are a lot of job opportunities in many of these locations. And some of these places, environmental science students can also get in. And as you may already know, some of these, like AMD, Oil India Limited, MECL, they recruit only through GATE. So GATE is something which you need to open by writing it and qualifying it. That is why GATE acquires a high value in these days. And also it is being said that the central government will make GATE as a qualification needed to get into public sector undertaking jobs. Without GATE, you cannot get in. Even if you have a master's degree or a BSc or a PhD, without GATE, you will not be able to get in. That rule will come shortly. And that has already started to some extent in many of these organizations where you cannot apply if you do not have a GATE score. So these are several organizations which recruit geologists as well as environmental scientists, and these websites which all of us know. And in India, you have Naukri.com, which is the most dependable website as far as jobs are concerned in India. And these are some guys who have made use of this DAD portal to get into PhDs. He was a student of geology in the University College, then Pondicherry. Through that, he got this PhD in the Geoscience Research Center in Potsdam. He is an assistant professor in ISER Mohali. So there are several such people who have made use of these opportunities. Okay. So, Polar Science Division Head, Tamban Melot from Kasaragod. After QSAT, he took a PhD, DAD Sandwich PhD, NIO Goa and University of Bremen in Germany. Look at Lindo Alapat, who is the head of the Department of Geology and Environmental Science in Christ College. MSc Anna University, MPhil Anna University, then a DAD scholarship took him to the Free University of Berlin. And now he's a faculty. So that's all. I end my talk here. Okay. So thank you. If you have any doubts, you can ask now or you can mail me later. You can get my email ID from your teachers. Thank you.